In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to use the OCTO Surgery strategy for planning an essay. In this case, I'm going to be using a persuasive prompt. Is it better to live in a big city or a small town? But this can really be used with any kind of writing. It can be expository, rhetorical analysis, anything where you have to collect and decide on which topics you're going to use in your essay. So OCTO stands for Omit, Combine, Toss, and Organize. We're going to go through those steps as we work on our plan. So I'm going to start by drawing, some people call this an octopus or a sunshine or whatever it is you want to call it, but we're going to draw a circle with 8 arms extending out from the center. In the middle, we're going to put our topic. So here we're talking about a big city. Probably should have made that a little bit bigger. Big city, small town. And we are, in this case, kind of splitting this topic. That doesn't necessarily mean that we need to put our ideas, four for each or anything like that. But we do have a split topic here, so this is also going to help us decide which side we want to write to. The next step, I'm going to start coming up with some ideas to fill in these 8 arms that are around here. And this other acronym over here, HELP, is going to help with that. This stands for history, experience, literature, and pop culture. So these are just 4 areas where we might be able to come up with some ideas to support our claim in this essay. So with those in mind, I'm going to come over here and start filling in some ideas. So one thing might be medical care. You would have access to more medical care in a big city with larger facilities and often a medical center. You would have shopping in a big town is usually more readily available, and entertainment. Oops. You would have traffic in a big city. Would be less in a small town. You would also have, let's see, probably more crime, or just crime in general. You'd have crime more in a big city and less in a small town. Big cities tend to have sports teams, so if you're into sports and like to attend games, that might be a big draw. We'd also have to consider that a big city would be more crowded, so trying to drive anywhere, stores would be crowded, that sort of thing. Also, we would say maybe that big city would be more fast-paced. I'm not sure what I was trying to write there. Whereas a small town would be more relaxed. So I've got my 8 ideas down here. You don't necessarily have to fill in all 8. If you run out when you've got 5 or 6, you can still use this strategy to narrow it down to the ones you need for your essay. It is best if you can get at least 8. You can certainly add more legs in there also. I'm going to go ahead and stop with 8 for now because I think I have enough to come up with some good ideas. So since this is persuasive and I have to pick a side, I'm going to use my first step to omit anything that doesn't support the side I want to write to. So first I'm going to look at these ideas and decide which one do I have the best support for. And really I could go either way with this one, but I think I'm going to go with big city. I'm going to say that it is better to live in a big city. And that's kind of leading into my thesis already, just by stating which side of the topic I'm going to choose. And then, so my first step is to omit. I'm going to omit anything that doesn't support the idea that a big city is better. So I'm going to get rid of traffic. I'm going to get rid of crowds. I'm going to get rid of crime, because these things are talking me out of moving into a big city. And it's definitely not relaxed in a big city, so we're going to go with fast pace for that one. So we have completed the omit step. Next we have to combine. So we look at what we have left and see if there's anything in here that we think could be put together or maybe spoken about in the same body paragraph. The only ones that I really see that I think fit that are sports teams and entertainment. I think that I could probably talk about those in the same body paragraph. So I'm just going to draw this arrow between them. The other ones I think pretty much stand on their own: shopping, medical care, and it's a fast-paced environment. I think I'm going to leave those to stand on their own in this case. So I have omitted and I have combined. My next step is to toss, and toss might at first seem like it's just like omit, but really what we're doing here is setting these things aside. So these are going to be topics that we might want to pick back up later. We may come down to our 2 or 3 topics that we're going to use in our paper and then decide that one of them's not really that great and we want to go back and try with this other topic. So what I'm going to do in this case, we're focusing right now on writing for standardized testing, and that best case scenario for those limited space essays is 2 body paragraphs. So I'm going to narrow this down to 2 main ideas for body paragraphs. So I think the things I'll have the most to talk about would probably be entertainment and medical care. So I'm going to toss my shopping and toss my fast-paced environment. So they're still there if I need to come back to them later, but for now we're going to set them aside and focus on entertainment and medical care. So we have completed the toss step, and the last thing we have to do is organize. So now we're down to the main ideas that we're actually going to use in our essay, so we need to decide what order we want to use them in. Generally speaking, for persuasive, you want to save your best argument for last. And I think for most people, the draw to move to a big city would probably be more strongly for entertainment. Because if we need extreme medical care, usually we're okay with traveling for it. But with entertainment, it may not be as persuasive to say that you would want to travel for entertainment, because it's just not worth traveling that much for, whereas medical care is kind of necessary. So I'm going to put my medical care reason first. It's a good reason, but I think that entertainment is stronger, so I'm going to put it second. So then when I move into the point of planning my essay, my intro is going to be my thesis, which I've kind of started up here by saying it is better to live in a big city. I would say than a small town, and then go on to give some reasons. And then my body paragraph 1 would be about medical care. My body paragraph 2 would be about entertainment. And now I already have my support for that one, that is sports teams. And then I would conclude. So you can see how this helps you plan your whole essay. You have all of the organization and everything ready to go to write your essay.